Kia ora, Lara here. This is my final layout for the Confessions of a Paper Addict design team. Really looking forward to finding out who's on the new team on the 1st of April when Virginia announces that, and looking forward to seeing how they work to inspire future use of Virginia's gorgeous cut files for the Confession of a Paper Addict store on Etsy. I have used the XOXO cut file here, and I've sort of gone through a few of these papers from the Deck the Palms collection, which was kind of a tropical Christmas kind of collection at the end of last year, and I absolutely love it. And so I'm quite pleased that I've still got little bits of it to slowly use up across the board. Now, I did 4 of the XOXO cut files onto the one background here, and then I cut them on my Cricut, and I decided that I was going to mount this on this it's pink paper with some little darker pink stars on there, and I'm going to glue that down onto that paper, and that's kind of creating that background. So when I'm gluing this down, I have to be careful to try and get into a lot of the little gaps between the different pieces, because when I go to stick this down, and I didn't do a great job of it, I have to then go and add on, sort of stick down some of the little bits between the X's and the little hearts that I didn't quite get in the right place or didn't quite stick down enough when I did that first layer of the glue. It's perhaps a time when I should have used the liquid glass or a different adhesive, because they don't seem to need as much time to grip when sticking things down, or even double-sided tape. But it was just those fiddly little bits, and I didn't want to spend ages on that with some double-sided tape. So now I'm taking the little center pieces out, and I'm just using that same glue to glue them into place. And I'm going to do a lot of those off screen. You don't need to see all those. Now, these gorgeous little cuts here are probably the main part of the cut file, so they are sort of that positive. And I've gone ahead and cut this out and cut it a little bit bigger from some Capri glitter paper. And yeah, so that's going to form my title for this layout. So these photos that I've taken are ones sort of selfies that my husband and I took while we were away recently in another little resort town kind of called Hanmer Springs, and we were at various places and just took the opportunity to capture us in those different places. So 4 different selfies, 4 different locations in and around Hanmer. And yeah, love these little snippets of time. And it's kind of capturing an aspect that we don't have little kids when we go on these adventures, and they used to all be in my photos when I went on them. They would be what I was capturing. We generally didn't take time to capture photos of us, and in this layout, this is kind of a collection just from one weekend that we had 4 photos in 4 different locations of us. So yeah, so it's a little bit of a snippet in time, or a picture of what's happened now or where we're at. So I'm using some more of these gorgeous Deck the Palms, and I also used the March, April mix-in paper, which was that black paper there, I think it was, with the words and stuff on it, just to sort of add a little bit of a depth to the border around the photos as well. So now I'm just going to stick these down once I've put them onto those different papers. All of them are mounted on the same patterned paper colours, so it's just the colours of the photos then that stand out or look differently. So just trying to arrange these in some sort of sensible order. Some are slightly bigger, some are sort of that square shape. So trying to arrange them so that they look the way I want them on this background. And now's where I cover up all of those little bits where I took all that extra time to add those little heart centers in. But never mind, it's about how it comes together at the end. And I wouldn't want some of those bits peeking out and to not look finished underneath. So I've got all those down, happy with that. And I'm going to just use the green Tombow here to stick down this glitter cardstock. It's a little bit thicker and heavier, so it needs a bit of a stronger adhesive to hold all those bits down. So just popping those there. I could have perhaps used some foam tape or something like that, but there isn't too much of an uneven surface underneath that glue's not going to stick down. So now I'm just wrinkling up the edges around each of these photos. And sort of this is where I did think about doing this before I stuck the photos down, but I felt that because I was going to be layering them, I didn't want to have to do them in different parts or create sort of a height or a depth on some of them where it wasn't going to stick down very well on those layers. So essentially the layout's pretty much done, especially when I just add some journaling about these photos and what's going on here. But it does lack a few embellishments, and I am going to add a few different ones. So I'm going to pull out some acrylic shapes, and I think some sparkles and some acrylic dots and things like that, just to finish this page off. So I'm pulling out these gorgeous little white acrylic heart shapes. They're sort of like speech bubble ones, as well as hearts on their own, hollowed out hearts, sort of scribble hearts almost as well. So I'm just tucking these in different places in and around the page, just sort of echoing that XOXO cut file that's in the background and that's also forming that title. It's actually really nice being able to get away, not having to worry about kids or finding someone to look after them. It's been a few years since we had to do that, but it's only now that we're really taking more opportunities to get away together. And in this particular getaway, it was almost to see one of our kids who is living up near here. He's living about half an hour away from where we were staying, so it was really nice to capture him in his new normal, or his home environment in some ways, and we were pleased to be able to spend a bit of time with him and his girlfriend and his puppy over the weekend. So enjoyed that opportunity. So the glitter gems and things that I'm choosing here, I found some bluebell pearl type ones, and some of the raspberry dots, and then a few leftover ones as well. So it was great to be able to pull in some of the colours that worked with this layout and that came in a few different kits, as well as using these acrylic hearts, and I've actually enjoyed using them and gone on to use them for a few different layouts following this one. So this was a layout using the XOXO cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict. Remember that you can get 30% off cut files in the Confessions of a Paper Addict Etsy store for the rest of this month, which means that's New Zealand time, which actually only gives you another 3 days, I think it is, if my maths is right, where you can go and get that discount. So definitely pop into the shop and purchase the cut files that you've had on your wish list or that you're keen to use.